All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. You've got this brilliant idea, right? This big project, maybe even a life-changing goal. But it's just stuck. It's sitting there in your head, paralyzed, because you're waiting for that one perfect moment to start.
So let me just ask you, straight up, how long has that amazing plan of yours been a ghost on your to-do list? A few months? A year? Maybe even longer? It's so easy to tell ourselves we're just preparing, polishing the idea. But what if that whole quest for perfection isn't helping you at all? What if it's actually sabotaging?
And that brings us right into our first big idea, the perfect moment trap. Yeah, it's a trap. That feeling that everything has to be 100% right before you can even begin, that's not setting you up for success. It's actually a trick our minds play on us to guarantee we never even make it to the starting line.
Now, there's a name for this feeling: analysis paralysis. It's when you overthink and overplan and overanalyze so much that you just freeze. You can't make a move. The source material even calls it a cunning mental illness, which is a really powerful way to put it, because it's probably the single most effective way to guarantee failure, just by making sure you never, ever start.
Here's the truth you really need to hear. The perfect condition is a total myth. It doesn't exist. I love this analogy from the source material. Waiting for the perfect moment is like trying to cross a busy street, but only when it's completely empty. It's just never going to happen, right? At some point, you have to find a gap in the traffic and just take that first step.
So what is really going on here? Let's pull back the curtain on this whole thing. Because if it's not really about having high standards, what's actually hiding behind the mask of perfectionism?
And here it is, the big secret. At its core, perfectionism isn't about some noble quest for excellence. It's a shield. It's this fortress we build around our ego. Why? Because deep down, we are terrified of being judged. We are hardwired to care what other people think, and the thought of someone criticizing our work, well, that can feel like a genuine threat.
The source shares this personal story that just nails this idea. So picture this. On one side, you've got the author. They're spending months perfecting a logo, obsessing over font colors, designing the absolute perfect background for some content they want to make. And then on the other side, you've got their friend. And what does the friend do? They just start. They grab their phone, use their own unedited voice, and focus on one thing and one thing only: actually releasing the content.
So what happens? Well, the perfectionist, after all that work, they released 0 videos and got 0 feedback. Meanwhile, the friend, with their imperfect approach, they released 10 videos. And you know what they got? Priceless, real-world feedback. It's kind of painful to hear, but it's such a vital lesson. The only real true failure is not doing anything at all.
Okay, so that story leads us right to the big turning point. It's a really simple philosophy, but it is the absolute key to breaking this cycle of paralysis. And it's this: done is better than perfect. Now look, this isn't an excuse to be sloppy. It's about a massive shift in your mindset, away from the final outcome and towards the process itself.
Just think about this for a second. You can't edit a blank page. It's so simple, but so true. You can't fix a system that doesn't exist yet. You have to create something first: a messy first draft, a clunky prototype, a raw recording. That first, imperfect version is infinitely more valuable than a perfect version that only exists in your head.
This is all about shifting your focus. You have to stop trying to perfect the final result from day one. Stop trying to avoid all criticism and stop thinking you need to have all the answers. Instead, you need to focus on how fast you can learn. Your goal should be to just get your idea out there, even if it's only 70% ready, so you can start gathering that real-world data and begin the real work, which is making it better and better over time.
All right, so we get the why behind all this. Now, let's get practical. It's time to build your own anti-procrastination toolkit, packed with some actual strategies you can use to force yourself into action.
Here are 2 simple rules that are honestly game changers. First, set a ridiculous deadline. Force yourself to launch an ugly version, and do it soon. A tight deadline literally starves that perfectionist part of your brain of the time it needs to overthink everything. And second, define what good enough actually means. Before you start, write down the absolute minimum your project needs to be ready for release. And the second you meet those criteria, you hit publish. No more excuses. You know, this isn't some crazy new idea. It's an approach used by the most innovative companies in the world. They call it a minimum viable product, or an MVP. It's just the simplest version of an idea that still works and provides some kind of value.
The goal isn't to be a massive blockbuster hit on day one. The goal is to learn, to see if the idea even works, and most importantly, to just get you moving. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. At the end of the day, you're faced with a choice. It's a choice between two different kinds of pain. So you have to decide, which one are you going to choose? Failure or regret?
I want you to ask yourself this and be really honest. What's more painful? The sting of a small mistake, maybe a little bit of criticism on day one, or that heavy, nagging, lifelong ache of regret for the thing you never even gave a shot? Look, the biggest regrets in life, they almost never come from the things we tried and failed at. They come from the things we were never brave enough to even start.
So, as we wrap up, I want you to remember this one crucial thing. Every single professional you admire, every expert you look up to, they were all amateurs once. They were all beginners who were just brave enough to be imperfect, to make mistakes, and to learn right out there in the open. They didn't magically start at 100%. They started at 0, just like everybody else.
So what's the one thing you should take away from all of this? It's this one single word. Stop waiting. Stop overplanning. Stop trying to make it perfect. The world doesn't need your perfect plan. It never sees the light of day. It needs you to take action. So please, just start.